So Officer Chauvin's trial was today, and I was kind of looking at some of the live feeds from it. And there was a dispatcher who was testifying today. And apparently she saw something so egregious that she was watching on video during the arrest that while it was going on, she actually reached out to a supervisor and said, hey, there's something wrong. I'm not feeling right about this. Not exact words, but that's the gist of it. She saw something she didn't feel comfortable with, that didn't look right, and she needed someone to go and check it out. 10 minutes later, George Floyd is dead. Wonder what she saw that didn't look right. Maybe the fact that this cop was kneeling on this dude's neck for over 9 minutes now. Before, we thought it was under 9 minutes. Now it's, I believe, 9 minutes and 22 seconds or 29 seconds. So that's almost a minute more than we all originally thought. And the defense attorney actually face planted pretty hard today, trying to make Derek Chauvin look like a good guy. There's a problem in policing, and some know it and some don't. We have to make it easy for these other cops that see something wrong to be able to, in essence, tell on the other cops without having any repercussions on them, without any pushback. They need to feel comfortable to be able to do their job where they can tell on another cop that's doing something wrong. I don't hate police, but it's not mutually exclusive to want police to be held accountable and be good at their job at the same time. I get it. They need to make split-second decisions in high-stress situations. But guess what? Most cops make the decision to go into this line of work. They know what they're getting into, so there has to be some level of accountability. Hey, yeah, I know I'm going into this field where I'm going to be in high-stress situations and dealing with all kinds of people in the public, so maybe I should learn how to Maybe I should learn the laws a little bit better than just blanketly applying things that might not really apply. There's a lot of things that happen in law enforcement that we need to talk about. A lot of cops that actually enforce these laws, and it's nothing against them, their training is kind of weak, to be completely honest. They train these people to be so hard and such warrior cops that they don't really teach them the basics of how to interact with the regular community. I mean, not for nothing, they are human beings. They should already know these things. But because they go into these training situations for like 6 months at a time, they're a different person when they come out. They get the feeling that the public is against them and they need to always be on their guard for something. And yeah, they should. But not everybody is against you as a cop. We're really not. We just want you to do the job the right way. And let's be honest, the way people are teaching some of these cops to be, it's not the right way, man. It's really not the right way. And we have to stop teaching them on how to do this whole fishing expedition they do, looking for more things than what's really already going on. Say they pull someone over for a seatbelt, and then they go on this big fishing expedition. Where you going? Where you coming from? Hey, you know, this is a drug area. You know, there was some houses robbed over here. You know, like, they fish. They look for things. That's what they're trained to do. It's part of the problem, and we need to work on it. Not everybody that's driving down the street with a seatbelt off is going to rob a 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? So it's too much. And the other thing that'll really help us to get us out of this problem, and it probably would have helped for Mr. Floyd in his situation, we need to really come up with a better solution for drugs. Marijuana needs to be legalized, and maybe even a few other drugs, because we wouldn't be in this problem. We spend more money on incarcerating people than anybody else on the planet, than the 10 next countries on the planet. They make fun of us in other countries for the amount of people we lock up. There's a country, I can't think of it, I think it's like Norway or Switzerland or one of them countries. They actually train their police officers. Train them before they even put them out on the streets for 2 years. And they go through all kinds of training. Might be something we might want to look into in this country. Because even though we're American, with the greatest country in the world, we don't always do everything great. There are people who do things better than us, and it's just, there's nothing wrong with admitting that. There's nothing wrong. You know, we always tell your kids, just ask for help. We're adults. If we're doing something wrong in this country, Why can't we say, hey, someone help us? We think we're doing this wrong. Like, we go to other countries and train them how to be the same way with people that the cops here do. It's not right. It needs to change. I mean, you got people serving life-term sentences for what might be considered a minor offense in other countries. Like marijuana offenses that aren't even that serious. I mean, you got people serving life terms for getting caught with a little bit of crack cocaine. I'm not talking like pounds of meth or pounds of coke. A little bit of cocaine, a little bit of crack cocaine. Life sentences. Imagine that. We need to change this country in many different ways, but I think we should really focus on the law enforcement aspect because, you know, not everyone wants to hate cops. People don't sit at home saying, hey, I want to hate cops today because of this. People don't like cops because of how they treat people. It's just a fact. And yes, we know not all cops are bad cops, but a few fucking spoil the bunch every single time. A few bad apples, right? Is that the whole thing they say? It's just a few bad apples. Well, guess what? They spoiled the bunch. I don't know. I just don't want to see a country where we're still doing that 10 years from now. Because I would love to be feeling comfortable when I get pulled over by a cop. And I can't imagine how uncomfortable black people are, or people of color, or different races who get pulled over by law enforcement on a regular basis. Imagine how they feel, and I feel uncomfortable sometimes. Just driving by them. Who knows? They're going to pull you over for what? I mean, simple stuff. Tail lights, seat belts, broken windshield. I mean, air fresheners on the window dangling. People have been shot and killed for air fresheners in the window. People have been shot and killed for that by cops. Wasn't exactly the exact way it's been done, but it happens. They'll start off, hey, you know, you got that air freshener in your windshield. It'll get heated and things happen. We need to change it. We need to change it big time in this country. We don't hate you, law enforcement. We just want you to care about the general population. We want to be on the same team. We don't want to be locked up for simple things. We don't want to be killed for simple things. You know, if things weren't so rough with law enforcement, I've experienced some pretty rough things with law enforcement. I personally was almost killed by law enforcement in Cleveland, Ohio, many years ago. Maybe I'll talk about it in a video. Right now, I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of a tough subject for me. But yeah, I've experienced it more than once in different states. Things need to change. Things need to change.